we're into game number 1. Reminder, winner goes home. That would be horrible. Winner stays.
It sucks here, dude. Winner goes home.
Loser goes home. Sorry, folks. And for MbL, unfortunately for him, he came close yesterday to taking down Hera, but he was not able to get the 3 wins. Hart had that banger comeback and ended up winning 3-2 over Mr. Yo. So, Vietnamese for MbL, Georgians for Hart. What are we thinking here, Dave?
2 very good civs on this map, and 2 civs that were very popular on the ladder as well. I think Vietnamese had the slight edge when we were looking at ladder games on this map, Koreans or Vietnamese, but that was when the Fire Lancers, a little bit stronger. We had the Siege Towers involved as well. So Georgians maybe finding a decent matchup against them, and the Georgian start is actually quite comfy.
Was this MbL's plan to pick up Wheelbarrow right away, or did he get pop capped really badly?
I was listening to him the other day, and I thought it was a joke, but he was telling Harry, he's like, yeah, I'm going to beat you. I'm just going to get Wheelbarrow and Handcart immediately in Feudal Age and Castle Age.
But like
every civ. He says, I always win.
Okay, but I know Vietnamese research faster, but that's a little uncommon to see research this early, 2 minutes into the game.
I know, but he was, it's a very MbL thing. He was so confident. He's like, man, when I get those right away, I always win.
Honestly,
I always win.
Honestly, confidence is half the battle.
Yeah.
It really is. Confidence is half the battle. There's so many great players who doubt themselves all the time.
Wheelbarrow before double bit axe.
Yeah, it's unique, but here he comes forward. We've got the spears and the archers.
I mean, to be fair, on this map, Wheelbarrow, if you're going out for the foxes, if you're moving around with your vills, you do start with 27 vills, right? So it does have a bigger impact than early on in a standard RM game.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not a heavy farming map, in my opinion. And so I think Wheelbarrow affecting farms the most. I don't love that move. It puts you behind in villagers. I also don't love for MbL. He lost an archer to the starting scout from Hart. Hart was able to scout his archers as well. He's already got scouts and skirms coming forward. So MbL's going to need something more. He can engage into that army now.
I think we watch when MbL gets to Castle Age, whether he goes Handcart right away, whether he backs that up. It's an interesting thing, though. It's not something we've seen before, as are a lot of MbL's quote-unquote builds.
Yeah.
We have 4 spearmen from him. We've got 4 archers, and we've got 3 skirmishers in the queue. The pressure coming forward from Hart, and a tower forced out already from MbL as the scouts are there to support the skirmishers. The skirms are taking care of the spearmen, and they're pushing the archers away, although MbL seems like he wants to go for a counter raid.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of has to. If he goes back, he just dies to that army. He's forced to go forward here. The bright side for MbL is going to be at least he's not taking much pressure on his base, but he was forced into a tower. At game number 1, Hart is looking extremely comfortable, and he should be able to kill all of this military.
Yeah, MbL going to lose his archers. What will he have at home is the question, right? A lot of the times in a position like this, MbL might default back to like adding more towers, going to the stone, maybe making a market and buying a stone for more towers and just playing full defense with skirm and spear. But it's going to be really, really tough because that army that Hart just used to clear up his attacking force is not that far away. It's coming right into the base. MbL will just abandon the woodline. Look, he's fast.
He abandons both woodlines, actually.
I mean, if he's going to be running around, Wheelbarrow is going to be really, really nice here for him.
Yeah, true. I mean, I think he's got to fully pivot out of ranged units now and plan towards Fire Lancers. That is the one option the Vietnamese have. That's maybe their best option here, at least against Feudal Age units. But so far, Hart, we haven't had to look at his base at all. It's just been all about the military on the front. And when you watch Hart play AoE, winning Age of Empires, that is what happens so consistently.
Castle Age on the way for MbL. We look at Hart's resources. Despite making all of this military, the scouts and the skirms, the resources looking really, really nice for him. He's 300 res collected ahead. MbL still being harassed on the woodline. Does have Wheelbarrow to run away faster, but this is value from Hart. He's just denying this area from MbL.
Yeah, super smooth from Hart. Now, long term, there is a building in the middle, which we haven't talked about yet. That is the Tower of London. If you get access to that building, which would mean you'd have to chop through those trees, it acts as a Fatoria-like building that gives you resources. I don't have the math on it, sorry, but basically gives you resources.
Everything
Very nice
but
to
stone.
Have.
Yeah. Everything but stone, I believe, from that center building. A lot of games, even the late ones, didn't really result in people going and grabbing that. But maybe Hart can think about that. He could roll a mule cart for it if he wants to open himself up to some potential damage. Maybe get that early. Could be nice.
Well, I think the mule cart civs are the best civs for it, right? Armenians and Georgians can actually take the wood. You can't build on all of this rock terrain we're looking at, which is why I didn't like the wheelbarrow choice, because you can't farm heavily on this map. There's just no space for that. And so that also applies to building lumber camps and town centers in the middle area. So far, I love the start for Hart, but we did see some games in that series against Yo where he was ahead at the start of every game, and then still Yo was able to claw 2 wins away. So MbL's going to have to do something similar here. I still don't know if it's going to be Fire Lancers, though. I see a staple there.
Here comes Handcart.
And Archer Rangers.
Here comes Handcart in Castle.
It's the Handcart. Let's see.
He's got a villager in the queue, so we'll see. He goes for a knight first. Second town center is on the way for MbL. Looks like he's spending his food, so he's not going to do what he said earlier and get Handcart instantly. Maybe you already forgot.
Yeah, I mean, the upgrade's really expensive, right? I know it's discounted, but still, you don't have that much food. You do want to push Hart back here. The Knight Q is very nice because that can help against those skirms. The town center is also very nice as well. It protects the area as the scouts are still lurking around. Overall, impressed that MbL has had pretty horrible game in the military v military engagements, but he didn't take a lot of eco damage here.
I mean, he didn't lose a villain.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of pressure for it from Hart, but to be fair to Hart, I mean, he transitioned from heavy military production early to going up to Castle Age when he knew MbL was just going to play defensive, and he's up to Castle Age at a really, really good time himself. He's adding that second town center, going into Elite Skirm to counter the Cav Archers, but still the mobility and the power of the Vietnamese Cav Archers going to be really tough for Hart here in the early stages.
I see Hart do this so frequently, and it's just his understanding of the game is so good. He'll see a knight in this scenario and be like, I'm still going Elite Skirm.
Yep.
I'm still going Elite Skirm because I know you don't have the food eco to make many more.
Nice snipe there.
He's dealt with the first one. But yeah, MbL's Cav Archers running in and sniping 2 villagers. That's not easy micro right there.
No, that's nice from MbL right away. The Knights are chasing. Hart's trying to take care of that. That's got to be annoying for him. MbL will lose these Cav Archers. He's not going to be able to get another villager.
Yeah, I think MbL as well still has those scouts to deal with at his base, and he loses some Cav Archers there. So that's just, when you're going Cav Archers, you really need to get to that mass, the critical mass of 25 according to Nilly's math the other day. I think really like 15 is where they start to get dangerous, but yeah, just losing 3 or 4 there for MbL, not the start he wants.
Yeah, Monk and Magadol now coming out. It's going to be hard to afford double range Cav Archers, Magadol production, and Monks at the same time.
Yep. But this is a situation that MbL finds himself in very frequently. It's just all full adaptation now, right? He is one of the best players when it comes to adaptation. The problem, of course, is against styles like Hearts, which can smother you before you can get to a state to adapt. I still think MbL's like 1 Mangonel shot on those skirms away from being in a very nice spot here. We don't have 3 town centers. There's relics still out there that haven't been collected, could be collected by Hart. Let's see.
If he could ever push this military back from Hart and get some map control past the middle area of the map, I think Hart's in a very concerning position. MbL, though, right now, a lot of villagers on that gold. Very oversaturated, has to pull them away. There's a knight in with those scouts. He's pulling them back to the TC. Gets not a bad engagement here as Hart only kills 1 villager.
This is what MbL does, though. He's similar to Yo yesterday. He doesn't like to fight the straight-up fights. He likes to go for the counters.
And here he is.
And Hart does not like this style. Hart wants to be fighting straight up all the time. Cav Archers come in. MbL sent these Cav Archers a long time ago. Beautiful play. He's tied on villagers with Hart, and that's a lot of idle time for Hart.
Yeah, MbL busy at home, though, so he couldn't snipe some of those villagers. He makes his way over to the woodline. He also sniped a monk early on the other side of that fortified church who was behind. I was surprised he saw that, but there goes 3 more villagers. Make it 4. Maybe make it 5 here pretty soon. Hart under a lot of pressure. MbL defending at home, 2 town centers and the Mangonel. Some villager idle time for him, though.
Lovely play at the same time, though, because Hart, while he has to defend, he doesn't want to stop the pressure that he's applying to MbL, and he wants to punish MbL for choosing to go forward to his base. There's town centers around, there's house walls, there's a tower. There's a lot to look at right now, but the tower might not go up.
Yeah, let's see if the Mangonel can get some value here. MbL didn't realize there was still a hole there. Hart sneaks in with the Knights. He's going to potentially deny the tower, kill the villagers here. The tower does go up. MbL saves a couple villagers, but still, great damage here from Hart. 8-8 Eco KD.
Super smooth from Hart. 1 minute of idle TC time. Lovely job. He not only defended from the CA after losing those vills, but he actually cleared everything. They didn't get away. And he still has this army to be able to maybe get away as well. So Hart's doing great. All the relics on this map are positioned around the center woodline. And I think this is now the time for Hart to start snagging them. He already has 1 in the monastery, but we could see more.
Yeah, I think he's in a pretty comfortable position here. He's got that 3rd town center going up. Still has forward pressure with the skirmishers. Does have ballistics. getting Bodkin Arrow now, so the Skirms are able to snipe the villagers and the Cav Archers, and MbL doesn't really have an army, right? It's going to take some time for MbL to mass up and pose a threat to Heart's eco again.
Yeah, MbL needs a big moment here. I felt like the Cav Archer raid was probably it, but he needed a continuous threat to Hart. Hart is just posturing, positioning himself on either side of the base here. He just has everything under his control, and he's just waiting to see what MbL sends his way.
No response to Skirm Knight.
Yeah.
Like, no response whatsoever for MbL. The Ballistics is in. Like, if the Cav Archers get close, the Skirms snipe them down. If the Mangonels go for the Skirms, the Knights come in.
Yeah,
and snipe those.
With really good play, it's just hard to stop this composition. MbL just has to choose to go tower defense and avoid it. We'll see another counterattack.
Yeah, he's trying to counterattack. The towers are up, but the fortified church is there. The Skirms are there. The TCs are there.
That's going to hurt MbL. With Ballistics already in, the town center's going to kill so much here, and MbL, no! He loses every Cav Archer. And look at that. At the same time, Hart actually pulled back his Knight, so it won't get converted by the monks as well. Not easy to do, but he'll back away again perfectly. Hart with a healthy eco lead and military lead.
So what's the response now from MbL? What can you do in this situation? Because you said it before, Hart feels like he's just smothering you.
Well, counterattacks is the only thing you can do. He has tried that. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked. Then you hope for probably maybe a couple Knights of your own against the Skirms, but the eco's never really been there. Again, so hard to farm on this map. Like the early wheelbarrow rather, really just, it didn't click for me. And the whole game, MbL's just been hoping that Hart can't punish him, but that's just not going to happen. Hart's just playing that well.
Is there a win condition here for MbL to get to the late game? Or Vietnamese?
Absolutely.
Ooh, nice little attack round there from MbL. He clears up the Skirms. That's going to help. Anyway, for late game matchup, if MbL can add that 4th TC, keep it consistent, not take too much damage, even out the villager counter, the economy somehow, do Vietnamese do well against Trojans?
I think so, yeah. I really do. Now, and it might be Rats and Archer, because civs that don't get great skirmishers really struggle against Rats and Archers. Yeah, Hart's weak Knight there, getting some value as the skirmishers are getting value there too. But, oh man, MbL needs to notice that.
Yeah, that's brutal.
He thinks he killed it, I think, because he garrisoned before.
Oh, that's
so it's
brutal.
Completely off his mind.
He still doesn't know.
Oh,
he still doesn't know.
no.
He's getting attack notifications from the right. He's not getting them from the left. Oh, brutal. I think that's villager like number 4 or 5 plus the Mangonel. He's still killing. That's villager number 6. Now villager number 7 doesn't happen.
Yeah, he sees it. Yeah, to answer your question, I think Rats and Archers are insane here. A weakness for Georgians, their skirms don't scale as well as other civs in the late game due to the lack of armor.
Yep.
They also don't get bomber cannon, so Georgians have great castle age, kind of some weak imp. So there's the highlight of that shot there from MbL. One of the few highlights we've had from MbL this game, because the rest of the game has been hard. And oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Wait, is that?
That's MbL's castle.
Okay. Well, let's see if he can do it. He's not bailing on the idea, Dave, despite
got
seeing the
wheelbarrow.
skirms.
He's had it for a while, and the villagers are coming forward, but it's not going to happen. Hart is going to place a castle in that same location, and the skirmishers are here. And now, what is the response to that from MbL? Because he hasn't seen that castle foundation. Does he go all the way around the edge of the map?
Nah, I think it's just a castle. I think it's just a castle to protect the stones and gold there.
I think he wants to castle that TC.
I mean, he is going to die if he doesn't do something crazy. So in theory, you should do something crazy.
And Hart is sensing that something might be coming from this
Dude,
side.
that's crazy.
That is right on
crazy.
top of Hart's castle.
Yeah, and he doesn't know Hart's building that. He's about to have a rude awakening here when he sees that.
And he builds it. The berries are blocking, but he builds it on the right side of the town center there from Hart. 100%. MbL slaps down that castle on that 4th town center from Hart, but I think Hart can just leave.
Yeah.
I don't think this is really an issue for him.
As long as Hart doesn't go Imperial Age in that town center, he's completely fine here. He'll kill some villagers as this castle's going up. Let's take some Cav Archers with him.
Does this castle go up?
I mean, I think so. I don't know. Nah, it's got to go up. It's got to go up.
It has to.
Yeah. There's enough villagers. That's one thing MbL did, is he brought enough villagers. But the castle will go up, and Hart is just so well prepared for this. He knows what a forward castle means. He knows that it can become an Imperial Age race for trebuchets, and he's already 2 minutes on the way up. Can those foxes shut up, Dave? Sorry. I got very aggressive, but they're annoying me.
I'm nervous. Somebody help.
Not you. You can talk. It's just the foxes that are bothering me.
Imperial Age on the way for MbL. He heavily used the market to get there. Hart basically got there naturally.
Freaking vodka, dude.
Thank you. Thank you for the highlight on the foxes. We love foxes here, except for T90. He wants them all to shut up. And it's 2.5 minutes away from Imperial Age. It's 1.5 minutes away from it for Hart. MbL a minute behind, and this is just going to hurt, right?
Yeah.
How much HP is this castle going to have by the time the first trap comes out?
Yeah, it's not going to look good at all, dude.
Did he send villagers to the edge of the map?
No, I think those are cav archers.
Okay, cav archers.
But
okay.
like he has really tried. This is like the 5th attempt to go for a really sneaky raid, and Hart just has it locked down every time.
Yeah, husbandry on the way for MbL. He's got 78 villagers against the 118 from Hart.
Oh man, and Hart just completely cuts him off here as well with the skirmishers. More and more value. This is just horrible for the CA. MbL has not been able to find any advantages here, and Hart is. It's just the perfect start for him. There's going to be nerves for both. When I spoke to MbL, he said he wasn't really feeling like he was playing his best. It's uncomfortable, right, playing in a land setting. But everyone's facing that, and Hart just feels like he's playing at home right now. Perfect start for Hart, and MbL's going to need to look for some change of approach here, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really a moment there for MbL other than that first raid with like 2 cav archers. There wasn't really a moment that it felt like he had a chance of taking back the momentum in that game. Hart just had a really clean build, lots of pressure, cleared up the early army. MbL's early wheelbarrow strat didn't pay off.
No, and was it a strat or did he get housed right away? I don't know. Like, I can't think of a single, I
would have thought
bad.
it was a reaction unless I heard what I heard the other day.
Yeah. Well, he is a player who researches it in normal scenarios much earlier than others.
Well, because he gets housed.
Well, yeah, that's part of it maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to be as blunt as I can be on it because we're talking fight to survive here at Red Bull Wololo. It's just not good to instantly go wheelbarrow here. You're down villagers. You lack food to get the proper timings on some builds. And I mean, the start for MbL was just not there. It looked really brutal. The whole game was just Hart dominating him. So we've said this before with MbL, right? Like when he was up against Hera yesterday, all the expectations were that Hera was going to get the victory. But Hera was really taken to the limit and it ended up going 3-2. So I'm hoping for MbL that this was just a blip and that the upcoming games are going to look a little bit brighter for him. And maybe he's got some game plans stored up for us here.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good cav archer raid from MbL, but then the little things, right? That night under the town center, killing the Mangonel, then killing 6 more villagers.
Yeah.
And it just all compounds. And Hart said in the interview, building up to this, we saw a little clip from him. He said, like, I feel like I don't take one fight. I take a fight after a fight after a fight after a fight, and I just build small
incremental advantages.
Exactly.
Yep. And MbL's not really an incremental advantage guy, at least at this level amongst the top 8. He's more of like the big moment player.
I don't think he knows what incremental means.
No, yeah, I'm sure he does. what is incremental again? Everyone knows what that means. No, we'll see. I think for Loch Ness, what he's got going for him is it's a very campy map, so it is quite difficult for Hart to apply that pressure early. Mm-hmm. I would really like Loch Ness now because Hart just showed you that he will find your opening, he will adapt to the opening, and he will punish you.
It would be so MbL to draft Loch Ness just assuming that he's going to get Vikings, and then Hart bans it.
Yeah, maybe.
Like no backup civ whatsoever for that. Just
well, I mean, Vikings was banned. Aztecs was the map. Aztecs was the civ that MbL played on Dorothy Quarry against Hera and got the win, so that's a good ban. Spanish is what MbL played on Hengehold,
yep.
and now that's been banned. The list really goes on. I think the bans from Hart were very good. But MbL's a more adaptable player than he sometimes gives himself credit for. And I think it all starts with a little bit of confidence in the game. It just didn't see a lot to get confident there, though. Hart's just got to... Every opening needs to hit MbL fast.
Yep.
Do not allow him to get going.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Don't let him recover his mentals at all here.
And also, if you feel like you're applying pressure and you can't see MbL's army, just set up your base in the way that he's not going to find that instant value from going for the raid. Similar to playing against Yo, right? Make sure you don't have any holes in your wall. Make sure you've got the TCs locking down so your villagers can garrison, or maybe you have some army at home in defense. As long as Hart keeps his mind on that, not giving MbL any openings, I think he's going to be fine.
So, beautiful banners here. What's more terrifying to you, though? The moose or the llama?
Well, I've seen a moose up close. I've seen a llama up close. One of them is about 15 times the size of the other, but one of them also spits. So that's an issue. But would you rather be spit on or run over?
Well, the other question is, what if they were the same size? What if a llama was the size of a moose?
Oh, that's absolutely I think that's absolutely terrifying, bro.
There's Riley just... Oh, he's reading here. Reading through his book on wheelbarrow.
I think that's the log book, actually.
Oh, is it? Oh,
I believe
that
that's
makes sense.
yeah, that's that lieutenant's log. As we see Hart playing Italians here on Blue Whales. We have MbL playing as the Romans. Blue Whales is a very interesting map. Anyone's not familiar, they do have whales in these little ponds. You can fish them for gold, and that's where most of the gold on the map is situated. MbL is going to do something a little bit different here. He's going to open with infantry this time around with the Roman men-at-arms as soon as he can afford that upgrade.
Yeah, I think Hart should expect it. I really think he should. We'll see what his scout finds, but there go the militia. This is not a map where you have a lot of food early.
Dock on the outside as well for MbL.
Yeah, it's tough to get that food because your fishing ships are actually on the whales, and so it's relatively difficult to back this up with upgrades. But yeah, you've got the fish on the outside, and that was actually the big thing I wanted to bring up to you. Yesterday we saw so many fishing ships on the outside. Hart had like 25, and then we saw Leary and Sebastian do the same. So I think this will be a very fish-heavy game compared to most.
Yeah, I think if you're not going for some sort of all-in strat, it's very easy to sneak a villager out there and make the fish. And then at the same time, like, they're going to be relatively safe because the docks are so close to the edge of the map. It's hard to get Hulk Spy if you garrison your fishing ships on time.
Yeah.
The arrows from the dock will do so much damage, you can't really afford a huge navy. So the fishing on the outer edge is actually relatively safe until you have maybe, you know, 10 or 12 fishing ships out there.
Dude, that block micro from MbL was pretty insane there.
That was nice.
I think he was expecting Hart to actually get the quick wall there, though. Hart didn't actually wall that villager off. Now Hart sees the man-at-arms. Now he'll aim to get the quick walls, and Hart will actually do
that house
enough.
Is not staying up for a very long time. Hart brings the villager back. He's going to start building it again, and MbL can't get in. Archers are going forward. The armor is already in for MbL, so men-at-arms with that double armor upgrade from Romans. Really, really difficult, but the archers here from Hart, unexpected.
Yeah, Hart he did such a good job there. He saw the pressure from MbL. He defends the pressure. He kills 2 villagers just like that, and now MbL still has more villagers exposed. Meanwhile, the man-at-arms are just kind of standing there.
Good house walls.
It's so tough for MbL, but will the house stay up? Can he hit the foundation enough times? It looks like he will.
Yeah, good house walls from MbL. He also added a second dock along the outside as we see the men-at-arms chasing the archers down. The scout is there too. The archers are coming in here for Hart. There's a bunch of weak villagers. MbL has to be careful. He's got skirms now in defense, but I think he might lose another villager here.
He might.
He's not paying attention, but look at that on the woodline from Hart. Men-at-arms trying to kill Vills. Hart notices. He pulls away.
Okay, but look at the difference right here. Hart doesn't lose a single villager. Hart finds another villager kill, just utilizing that scout perfectly. Hart just slightly better at being able to find value from military here, Dave.
And he's got more fishing ships, too, than MbL, despite the double dock on the outside.
Yep. Hart's just so good. He takes the fights. It's the Leary mentality. Don't lose fights. You can't lose the game. And
Castle Age on the way, too.
The other thing about Hart as well, I feel like he's got better every series.
Yes.
Here, right? Like, he has truly improved every set.
Well, I mean, he opened against Hera, so that's not, you know.
Well, true.
Makes you look a little bad when you're against the best player in the world.
True. But even against Yo, I felt like that 5th game, when you could be, your nerves could be the highest, the pressure could be the highest, he played his absolute best. What a performance from him today.
I wonder if MbL clicks up the Castle Age and he's just fishing heavily on the outside, I wonder if he can play like full longsword.
I think if you have, I like it if you can somehow take engagements against the archers, clear out some of those archers. That's going to be the worry right now, because there's 9 archers. Hart's done a really nice job of keeping them alive. Even there, like, there's skirmishers chasing him. Those archers are going to get away. Really concerned with the Castle Age timings here, Dave. MbL still hasn't clicked up.
He needs a market.
Yeah, and he'll use the market, and he'll click up, and that's good and everything, but there's a lot of exposed eco on this map. And if crossbow upgrade comes in, if the cheap ballistics comes in with the Italians, this could get dangerous fast.
Res collected still ahead for MbL. Despite losing 3 villagers, Romans do get 5% on everything. which is very, very nice. And MbL had those fishing ships on the outer areas of the map, just like Hart, as MbL tries to mark a wall that he's not going to find it. The archers are in here for Hart. He's about to be in the castle H. He is now, and crossbow comes in right away, and this is going to be very dangerous for MbL. He needs to get some more walls down or pull the villagers away back here. Very exposed at the backside of his base.
Yeah, normally I'd say you tower here, but with the way the bases are set up, there's no tower that protects everything. If you're going to tower, maybe you protect a wood line and you protect a gold. Yeah, so there's some wood and gold, but again, the base is all kind of spread out. I guess you don't really need the gold, though, because you have the fishing ships. But Dave, that might not even remain the case, because as I say that, Hart is actually building a dock, a sneak dock to the north there. If he starts to apply pressure, MbL's never expecting that.
And the galley was pulled away to try and fight the archers.
MbL also opened immediately with that galley, by the way, which I've never seen a player do. In theory, it makes sense, but the fact that the galley exists and isn't there to deny the dock is going to be brutal for MbL.
No bodkin for Hart. Oh, he got the crossbow upgrade. He couldn't afford bodkin, and now we might be in a situation where he forgets that he doesn't have it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe at some point when he's engaging, like right here, he could maybe notice, but even there, it wouldn't feel natural to me to notice. He's done some good pressure with the crossbowman. The sneak dock is really the key. MbL still doesn't see it. MbL thinks he's completely fine with his fish there. This is going to be painful for MbL soon.
Yeah, bodkin arrow coming in for MbL. There's the second town center. We got galleys on the outside to potentially counter the Hulks there. So he's going to protect his fish. The crossbows, though, from Hart, still doing a great job at the backside of MbL's base. MbL will lose one galley over there, but it's enough to counter those Hulks. The question is, how does MbL stabilize, and does he ever start to push back across towards Hart's economy?
Well, elite skirm. Elite skirm is step number 1. He has 11 skirmishers. He needs elite. Obviously, his eco's been super inefficient here. But if he can get elite skirm, then he can clear up the crossbows. And then he needs to notice on water. The problem is on water, he just had zero clue.
Yeah.
It just completely forgot about this. So now those fishing ships are idle. And now 0 on gold for MbL. That was his gold income. And that's very much specific to this map. It is not a common thinking of, like, you lose a couple fishing ships and you lose your gold, right? So good for him to adapt.
Fortunately, he did make the dock on the southern pond, and Hart's not down there yet, so he can pump out some fishing ships potentially and get that gold income coming in again.
Yep. And elite skirm's in now. Hart still doesn't have bodkin arrow. So Hart will transition into town centers too, which will make things pretty complicated. Might be a little less focus on lands now for Hart with the water focus. At least like the land military focus should be a slower, or a lower percentage rather.
Mangonel's pushing through the center. We saw it with Hera against Hart. Like, the whales collecting so fast just enable you to go for 4, 5, 6, 7 Mangonels in that center area and push your opponent back. MbL's trying for a little counterattack, but Hart on the outside here with the fire. I'm actually surprised that 4 galleys are enough to take out that fire. MbL is going to keep defending his fish on the outer edge.
Yeah, one more fire on the outside.
And he defends here too. Nice job from MbL, and he clears up the crossbows over on that side. Did get hit by his shot from the Mangonel, so the forward pressure is gone, and Hart has identified that dock in the center area for MbL.
Honestly, I think the game is coming to a point where it's very heavy adaptation with 5 or 6 different armies, and the eco state's very even. So for MbL, I thought maybe he could be broken by Hart's Castle Age timing, but this is way better situation than the previous game. He has elite skirm to match crossbowmen. He has upgraded Navy to maybe compete here. We'll see if he can. But he just needs a couple good engagements here. And with a couple more engagements for MbL, things could start to turn around a little bit.
Yeah, there's no fishing ships as well to garrison in this dock for Hart.
True.
So MbL's got that advantage over there, but Hart constantly pressuring MbL. He's got the archers roaming around, sniping villagers. He's got the water pressure on the outside. He's got the water pressure here on this pond. We need like 4 different views here to see all of Hart's attacks, and I think he took out the dock on the other pond from MbL as well. Really good pressure from Hart. He roams in here with the crossbow. He's going to find a wood line.
That's the way to do it right there. If there's skirms out, it's probably the end of the timing on crossbows, so just get as much value as possible. Nice shot from MbL with the house wall, but you also kind of destined your villagers
he's going to lose
here,
the bills anyway, right? So you might as well get as much value from that as possible, and the crossbows are going to go down.
I mean, maybe, but with no ballistics, I think you could run away. But he doesn't know that, right? He's probably assuming ballistics. He's got so many other problems to worry about. That's the theme now. Hart's heavy siege pressuring the front of the base. Interesting to see infantry armor there for Hart. I think that's a misclick.
Is that a misclick? I think it's a misclick. Yeah, he's going for the stable, so he probably meant to get the cav armor.
Yeah. Well, he'll notice at some point. But Hart taking down the archer range eliminates skirm options for MbL. And he's going to slow creep push through the middle here as well. Well done from Hart. Even more fishing ships could be added on the outside as well for him here.
MbL is back on the whales again with the fish, and that's a huge deal. So he suddenly has gold income again. He's got a siege workshop. He can get mangonels out. He's got a couple war galleys, a fire, and a hulk. So he did a good job retaining that pond, but Hart has now got a dock on the southern pond. He's going to get even more gold income. Ooh. And look at the Navy MbL suddenly has on the outside. I did not expect those type of numbers.
I was just going to ask, how is the population even? Because I'm not seeing anything from MbL. And I guess it was all amongst the fishing ships in the bag.
Hero Mangonel from MbL. He's got 1 versus 4.
You know what could work really well for MbL? That Navy's going to hit. Hart will get distracted, and then he can do this. Nice kill there from MbL. Repairs can come in. Hard for Hart to do anything about that right now. We also have some skirms running into the bag. Hart's about to have a lot of things hitting him at once here.
Yeah, the Navy is going to hit at the same time this Mangonel is coming out. That's 2-0 for MbL. Let's see if Hart can get a few back here. MbL's now got 2 Mangonels of his own. You don't want to get involved in Mangonel wars against MbL generally. He takes out 2 of the crossbows. He doesn't manage to snipe that Mangonel. Nice shot from Hart. He saves it on 1 HP, and he's going to start repairing.
Yeah, Hart lost 2, and he's like, yeah, I need to prioritize my focus here. Beautiful job.
Oh,
I think
that was
MbL
a pretty good shot from MbL.
will be pretty happy with how that went, I think. Here's the Navy, though. I think if the Navy continues past the dock right away, you find some great value.
Yep.
Very hard to think about that. You're usually patrolling, and you might just stay on that dock for a while. Great play from MbL to move around.
He's in with the skirms again. He's just constantly sending armies forward. Nice job from MbL. The Knights are there.
Yeah, the Knights are going to be a problem, though. The Knights will clear up the skirms immediately. At the same time, though, Hart is beyond just these 2 Knights. He doesn't really have a big army on land anymore. So, and he also, MbL has a lot of time to realize that it's Knights. So losing those skirmishers at this stage is completely
Worker
fine.
efficiency is also, last minute, 52% for Hart.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. Like, he's trying to handle so many things, just like MbL was earlier in the game. Good chaotic pressure here from MbL. Still trying to hold on to these whales. Has to make sure to queue up another ship there. And the castle right on the siege workshop. MbL is not messing around. He's getting wheelbarrow. He's coming forward. Hart can see these villagers extending forward. There is a knight there. There's some pikemen coming out from MbL.
Dude.
Mangonel on the way. This is...
This is MbL.
This is MbL.
Dude, he's walking past 4 outposts. The opponent can see this coming.
He's walking past 4 knights and a Mangonel and another Mangonel coming. And he's got 2 pikemen of his own. Hello?
I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I think MbL, I think he's so overwhelmed. He knows he needs to be chaotic. He knew he was behind, and a forward castle can change the game. But Dave, you know, the thought process was probably, I'm making pikemen. He has only knights. I could take the fight. But he didn't have the amount of pikemen yet.
No.
And there was a lot more knights out than he thought. And also running past the outposts. I mean, well played from Hart to place the outpost.
Does he delete it and then place the castle in the north?
No, you gotta try even crazier now because you just lost
right
20 bills.
So he's, but there's a MbL!
Oh no!
Not like this! 2 Mangonels coming forward. He's gonna have to abandon that. He has 2 castle foundations on the field right now.
This is.
He hasn't deleted. He's going for that one again.
The first one was a fake. Hart's confident right now. Hart thinks he won the game, but there's another castle, and oh no, he sees it. That's bad.
He's walling off the villagers.
Oh no.
They're walking around. MbL did get wheelbarrow. 56 villagers for MbL. Maybe if Hart is focused on this one, he won't notice another one that MbL might place. I think he's going to deny both.
Dave, this is... Oh god. Oh no. MbL. Oh god, I don't know if this goes up. There's Genoese crossbowman there.
It definitely does not.
Hart kills his own Mangonel. And MbL's going to have to tap out, and he drops the 11.
Drops the 11.
Oh, God.
Game number 2. Remember, whoever wins this set goes through.
Yeah.
And it's a similar situation to our first set. MbL is going to need to win 3 in a row to keep his hopes alive. that just felt like a situation. He had a completely different read on that game than we did.
Yeah.
It felt like a situation he could stabilize. Instead, he tried to make it super, super crazy. Maybe he felt like it was really, really far behind.
Yeah, I think he thought he was a bit further behind than he was. I thought the whole game that he was further behind than the stats were telling us. So I actually think his read was kind of where my brain was half the cast. But you can't go past 4 enemy outposts with 2 pikemen as defense there. It's got
as soon as you see the outpost, as soon as you see the knight, you got to turn that ship around right here.
Yeah.
Right here is where you need to turn around. You can't just keep running forward.
But credit to Hart, because think about it, right? Like, if MbL waits for 5 more pikemen or whatever he needs, Hart can always see the pikemen because he'll move forward, switch back into crossbowmen. He's got the siege already. Like, Hart just kind of... A lot of this started in early feudal again. He defended from the man-at-arms perfectly, and then he got the counterattack. Hart is playing elite. He's playing his best Age of Empires. In my opinion, he's built for Empire Wars, which we said at the start of the tournament. MbL, it hasn't been there yet today. I think he already feels defeated right now. It already feels like he's lost the series in his mind, but I'm hoping he can bring back a little bit more of the craziness he brought against Hera.
I mean, he's making it crazy for sure.
Yeah.
My question is, if you're going to do something like that, just load 20 Vils in a transport ship around the outside and land it in hard space.
They did kind of have water control there at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just both games, it's just the feudal age opening.
Yeah.
This one, it wasn't nearly as confusing. It wasn't nearly as critical as the wheelbarrow decision in the first game. We've seen a lot of men-at-arms there. But, yeah, Hart's got to feel great right now. MbL's got to... I don't think he's feeling the confidence right now. This is now where he's actually at his most dangerous. When MbL's like, all right, whatever, I'm already dead. That's when maybe the pressure is off a little bit more. They're talking to each other a little bit here. Or it could be Hart speaking to the admin. I saw Hart say a couple words after the game ended there, and they're right across the desk from each other.
I mean, our questions coming in, as with every single MbL set, is what is MbL going to do?
Yeah.
Like, how is he going to pressure his opponent? But I think so far he hasn't had a chance. Hart has just completely shut him down in the early game. And MbL is playing from a defensive position every single time. He doesn't have the ability to go forward and make the game crazy like he wants to.
KDs I remember from the first game, but at the start, 12-4 for Hart. KD at the start of this previous game was like 6-1 for Hart, right? Like it's hard to recover from that. And so against Hart, you almost have to match him. And then you have to out-execute him. And then it's like, oh, how many people can do that? Maybe 2. So I think strategically it was a lot better there for MbL, but he just couldn't adapt as well.
That was Hart's home map that MbL picked.
Yeah.
Does he pick Dorothea Quarry? I could see him doing it.
I mean, there's an argument for it because the toughest battle could be that map.
Yeah, and then you have both of your home maps coming home.
Correct. I think you maybe do it if there's a matchup that you really like there. I think Hart showed yesterday he loves Tatars there, and he would likely play Tatars there again. I think Hart will play Burgundians 100% on Loch Ness. Hart will then probably play Franks or Huns on Hengehold. So as far as matchups go, I'm guessing MbL would probably not want to play that map right now. And here's a reveal on what it is. It's going to be Hengehold.
Hengehold. The wonderful map, as you can see, the layout. Berries on the outside. Bunnies in the center. Wood and gold. And everything else.
The berries as well. And a massive bunny that is somehow the size of the town center.
It's like 5K food.
Oh man, you know, unfortunately, someone opened that thinking it was going to be a treasure map, but it was just an AOE map, so kind of a bummer.
Let's see if Hart can find himself another win. Let's see if he can sweep MbL. MbL needs a win here, 2 more just to stay alive in the tournament. Let's see what he can do. It's going to be Cumans for MbL. It's going to be Franks for Hart as we see MbL refusing to let Hart get home with his boar. The villager dies. Does MbL save his villager? No, but there's a villager right there. He can pull the boar in.
I mean, we're used to seeing the players bring the boars in.
Get it.
That hasn't happened yet. On the other side, I think Hart is also recovering his boar, but both players lose a villager to start the game. KD's a little confusing because the boar killed one and the scout killed the other, but it's still one villager down for both. Boars come in, Cumans against Franks. We've seen this before. With the Cumans, you have the discount on the military buildings, so you can go for lots of military buildings very quickly here in Empire Wars. For Franks, it's all about the berries on the back for the food income. There's berries all along the back there, and they have the berry bonus, of course.
We also saw a Cumans game. I believe it was Game 5 Viper versus Sebastian, where Viper actually added the TC and the Feudal Age. He also added the Siege Workshop. So he used all the bonuses from the Cumans in that one. Incredibly aggressive game. We'll see if MbL can get a position like that as well. He's opening with the Archers. It's Skirmisher Scout for Hart and the Walls. So Hart's going to play a reactive game here. He's going to play a defensive game. And then hopefully that bonus that he gets on the berries is going to carry him through eventually.
Think about the approach, though. MbL in a moment is going to have 4 military buildings that he can produce out of. The barracks, the 2 archery ranges, and the stable. Now, can you afford to produce out of all of them at once? That is a different question, and that's extremely difficult. But I like it for MbL because he hasn't been able to make the same amount of units and out-micro Hart, so he needs to just outmass him here. I also like the idea for the second town center because MbL can get the timings right on defense a lot here. So let's see. Little army moving forward. I don't think Hart has tracked this. And those archers should be moving to the north there. And yeah, Hart is not walled. The skirms are...
Yeah, that's a really nice push there.
They're close by.
The skirms are over on that side. Like, Hart expects something might be coming in from there.
Hart sees it immediately.
But MbL is going to attack here, and fletching is not in yet. It's about 4 seconds away. If it was in at the beginning, he would have killed this villager for sure. I don't think he's going to get her. If he does, he's going to have to sacrifice both of those archers and the spearmen to do so. Meanwhile, Hart attacking MbL on the other side. He's going to kill a villager as well.
Beautiful job from Hart to apply pressure and defend at the same time. Very well done. And MbL, nice defense as well, but he will need to be worried about those scout numbers. That's 4 scouts there with Franks, extra HP. Hart's not as distracted anymore, though, so he will never run into those spearmen.
I thought he was going to. Just because you said that.
Okay.
Yeah. Armor coming in for Hart. Franks, they get the extra HP. They don't get Bloodline. So if MbL gets full upgrades on his scouts, they'll actually be better than the Frank scouts in Feudal Age. But for now, Hart is going for the armor. He's going to have a really nice army here. 6 skirmishers, 6 scouts with that armor. MbL pushing through the center. He's got 3 archers, 2 spearmen, and 4 scouts, plus 4 skirms.
Yeah, so eventually in a very long Feudal Age war, if MbL can get full upgrades on his scouts, his scouts are actually stronger.
Yeah.
It'll be 65 HP after the Bloodlines upgrade, up from 45 HP. But Franks just have the base HP of 54. So the Franks basically have the advantage there until that upgrade comes in. That's quite a bold move forward here from Hart.
That's an interesting decision to send those skirmishers just in there, and he loses the spearmen as well. That's a good fight for MbL, I think.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. It's really tough. It's going to come down to MbL's archer numbers, I feel. That's the difference. And when you're comparing the skirmishers versus the archers, when I was a kid, I'd see a skirm, and I'd think it would always do more damage because he's throwing the bigger stick, you know? But the skirm does very little damage against scouts. The archers do damage against the scouts. So you got to think about it. It's like MbL can eventually get to a point where all of his army is much stronger, but it's a lot more expensive because the archers cost gold.
I mean, he doesn't have any upgrades for his scouts right now.
Yeah.
So we got the armor, and we have that extra HP from the Franks on the scouts from Hart. So it's looking really good, and Hart has stopped production. He's going to click up to the castle edge. I wonder if MbL noticed that score drop from Hart.
Look at the back of Hart's base here for a second. We only have a second, but there's villagers all over the berries. That's why you pick the Franks on this map. It's 20% or 25%, I forget which, faster food income from the berries, and it's all available there. And so nice recognition from Hart. It's like, I've done enough with my military upgrades and my numbers. I could change this game if I get to Castle Edge.
Do you think MbL recognizes this? Because he's adding the second stable. Hart just clicked up. He gets Bloodlines after Hart's score drop, and he gets Forging and the second stable.
Well, I think if you're not close to clicking up yourself, you do need to choose the other option, which is just make a lot of army and clear this up. If you clear this up, you'll have full map control, and then maybe can drop the second TC. Here we go. Bloodlines is in now, and Forging is in. This should be pretty good for MbL if he can get the scout numbers here.
And he's got the spearmen there, too. So he got a couple of hits with the spearmen. That's really nice to open up that fight. Hart's hunting down these archers. MbL should be able to clear this army.
Yeah. I think if Hart clears the archers, he feels completely comfortable with this. He can deal with scouts with knights in a minute. It's a good engagement for MbL, but as you said, he needs to recognize that Castle Age or some advantage needs to come in economically.
He's going for the second town center. That'll take a long time to build in feudal age, but if you can add villagers while you're going up to Castle Age and somehow defend your economy from Heart's early knights, I think that could be a good addition.
I don't like the town center location. It could protect
Very
that
exposed.
area, but it is very exposed. Here's the fight. Again, it just kind of comes down to what you're planning on doing with your army. And for MbL, these archers would have been nice to keep around. Franks don't really need their skirmishers. So that's a fight that MbL wins, but I think in terms of investment, Hart is very happy.
Really good value with that spearman. I think he killed 3 scouts. He was like blending them with the archers. Very nice stuff there from MbL. Let's get back to the action though. MbL trying to run into Hart's base.
Oh.
Good quick wall there from Hart. And there's a hole anyway, but he got some value from it. Town center still being built. It takes a very long time in feudal age for that Cuman town center to come in here as MbL is up to the castle age. Hart, however, already there.
Yeah, scouts will run on by as well. That's
he did
kind of
sell
annoying.
his stone earlier though, Hart. So he can't add the TCs right away unless he buys it, which he just did.
I wish viewers could see you like perk up in your chair as you saw something cool, and then like your shoulders just drop a little bit in disappointment. The town center will be in a good spot. I think if you're up against range units, having the town center on the outside, like MbL and Hart has placed, is very nice. And that is actually what Hart is going to go for. And Hart doesn't get the snipe. But I was expecting full knights here.
Yep.
Crossbow and knights is kind of crazy.
Crossbow and knight, man. He's adding the army to keep the map control. He doesn't want MbL to get forward with that siege workshop or anything like that. He doesn't want to open the game. He just wants to keep smothering him. And I don't mind it. I think it's a pretty good gameplay.
It's really good. It's especially good because he's able to boom as well. This isn't all in or anything.
He's got the berries.
Yeah. And I wonder if he'll ever switch out of the berries. The berries are everywhere. So you can just continue to drop mills. You don't need to play around farms. And if you do play into farms, you already have the farm upgrades, being the Franks.
And MbL's stuck here, just kind of waiting until he's in Castle Age and he can produce some units to deal with this. He did go for the tower, and great timing on that tower from MbL. It's perfect timing.
But how much is that tower really going to help here? I think if the crossbows just sit underneath the tower, there's still a lot of villagers around. The knights are able to dodge the arrow fire as well. MbL needs to clear this up quickly here. His eco is so inefficient right now, Dave. Another villager down. MbL falling majorly behind in every category again.
Yeah, 48 villagers for him, 52 villagers for Hart, but so many of those villagers idled at the moment for MbL. He really has to use that market in order to produce some knights. The tower is trying to hit the crossbows, but Hart with some excellent micro running away, waits for the tower to fire, and then he moves.
He's just so confident. He's just so confident. You can tell when a player moves their units like this that he feels as though he is just going to completely smash his opponent. He has played the perfect series here when he needs to win to survive and move in out of this onto the next stage. And of course, there's also
another
the fear of
crossbow
having
army
to go
from the
home.
north. There's a hole there. Another crossbow army approaching from the north. MbL will see that. He deletes the house. He leaves with the villagers. Hart's crossbows are still alive here as Hart is still pressuring at the front side of MbL's base where his gold is. So there's another villager kill there. 12-2 on the Eco KD.
And the efficiency, Dave. 58%, that's just last minute stat. I don't know what the overall efficiency for MbL has been, but I imagine it's not very good. Honestly, I think Hart's just played perfect. I think some small things he could do. He could go for relics in the middle, which I think he's doing. I see a monk is in production. He also could consider the third TC, but I love how he's not allowing MbL to breathe, and it's just been nonstop pressure.
Now this is the moment where a player like MbL, player like Yo, will realize they're really far behind, and the only way back is a counterattack.
Yeah.
So Hart is open, I believe, on that right side. If MbL goes around with the knights, there is potential there. He's going to go for the clear up in the center here. There's a lot of crossbows there from Hart, and it's only the first armor upgrade for MbL. I don't know if this is the right play for MbL.
Well, against like 6 units, maybe that feels all right. But Hart just did a great job to recognize that that army was going to be coming eventually for the middle and to regroup his
I think
army
these
there.
knights needed to go forward like 30, 40 seconds ago for MbL.
Well,
I think
here
you
he
need to
goes.
open the game up, right? But Hart, no longer seeing these knights, and he saw the numbers before, will realize that there's some potential for damage at the back of his base.
He should. He should. Let's see. I mean, the Cuman Knights are a little bit faster, so it's tougher to react to. I don't know if he's completely walled or not. MbL's hoping for some damage here.
Yeah, he just walled it up.
And Hart's going to wall it up. One villager will die. That's completely fine
That needed to be earlier from MbL. I know he's under a lot of pressure, but that needed to be earlier. This is his way back into the game. He can't clear the main army from Hart. He needs to have some trades happening, and he's just not finding them. MbL is on stone. He's retreating back to this town center, but Hart is sitting in the middle of his economy, and there's nothing he can do about it.
There's nothing he can do. And he doesn't have the economy to even get the armor upgrade. That's been the theme of the starting 2 sets today. Is just one guy feels like there's nothing he can do to stop the other.
Yep. I mean, with 12 knights with the second armor upgrade, if Hart takes his eye off his army, maybe MbL can clear and then take control. Maybe go for a castle or something with the stone still available under the TC. Maybe he can make something happen, but it's going to be very difficult. 73 villagers against 59. Res collected advantage is 2K ahead for Hart, and I think that's really going to continue to skyrocket. He's got all the villagers on the berries. He's got a way more efficient eco than MbL.
Well, he's going to move. MbL will move forward again. To your point, if you just continue to try and defend, you might have some issues, but Hart backed off with his monks. He was looking for that army. It still hadn't gone for his forward crossbows. And even switching to conversions at the perfect timing for the weak units. Even making his own knights now as well. Hart's just playing so well. The other knights are going to come back, so MbL tried the counterattack. That didn't work. Now he goes for the crossbows.
There are a bunch of weak crossbows in there. So if you clear them with a couple of hits, maybe you can find a good engagement. Hart's going to micro around the berries, though.
Yeah, I mean, Hart did a couple good things there. He actually pulled 2 of those knights away. I think in the end, that will get cleared up. But on the front, now Hart is switching to knights. He's got the superior knights long term. He doesn't have the upgrades, but he's got crossbows and monks in the mix as well.
Now, ballistics is coming in for Hart. I think he's going to have like 6 or 7 crossbows left.
Yeah, third town center now. 15 villager lead for Hart. 8 knights. MbL's got 12. You have the crossbows. You also have the monks. Those are going to be the key right now for Hart.
Ooh, barracks as well. Hart it has no chill in this game.
Seriously.
Like, he's going to pressure forward with pikemen, crossbow with ballistics, knights. He's not going to give MbL any chance to get anything forward, and MbL is going to have to be super, super sneaky as you see him rolling around the right side of the map, but for what?
I think it's just gold. I think he
gold?
ran out of gold.
Dang.
He can't take his forward gold, so he was hoping for that.
He had to, look at that, he sold 100 wood, sold 100 stone, then he had to buy 100 wood back to get the mining camp.
That might have been a misclick, I'm not sure. But desperate times, because on this map, if you don't have the middle and you don't have those relics, which Hart now has 4 of, you really struggle for the gold. So it's all around the outer edge. I love the recognition from Hart to say, okay, I've done enough. The only way I lose this game is if he just overruns me with army. So let's just make a mix of pretty much everything here. Pikemen, knights, crossbows. I think you could argue that he needs to stick to one unit a little bit more, but Hart's usually great at getting value from the monks, and he's just waiting. It's gotten silent. He hasn't seen any red for a while. MbL's kind of waiting as well. But MbL should know, like, you look at the score, you know how this game has flowed. You gotta get counter damage.
The score is actually pretty close considering the game state.
Yeah.
It feels like Hart has had a much smoother game here. He has way more res collect. He's got a much bigger population, bigger eco, everything.
I kind of like this. You split up 2 separate attacks. Hart's going to assume maybe that your main army is going with these knights. Let's see what Hart chooses to do. Now MbL's knights are going to the middle.
I mean, sometimes if you attack twice, 2 different areas, you get the bell. You look over to where the bell is on the one side, and you don't notice the other raid.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the way you find opportunities. MbL coming through the middle here. He's attacking on the right. He's got knights at the back of Hart's base as well. Finding some kills, and Hart hasn't killed a villager from MbL in a while.
There are crossbows there, and those crossbows and those pikemen are going to be so helpful against Camel, though. I think Camel was a nice choice if pikemen never got mixed in, or if the crossbows weren't still there, but I don't know, Dave. It just doesn't seem like it was quite enough for MbL.
Yeah, he got 2 villager kills there, and he's going to lose even more.
So good from Hart. Defends just enough, gets counter raid again, and more villagers from MbL falling down. And MbL's probably going to be falling out here, Red Bull Wolo Londinium. This has just not been his day. And Hart, just as we've said, just been so good. He's played a perfect series.
Absolutely smothering. MbL finding no opportunities whatsoever. The Knights are extremely weak. These pikemen are going to one-shot a lot of them, and MbL immediately loses 5 Knights. That's a big portion of his army. He's got the camels as well, and he calls it. Hart with an amazing performance, 3-0 in an elimination set against MbL. He goes through to tomorrow. He's got another chance here at Red Bull Wallaloo. MbL, unfortunately, eliminated.
Yeah, let's not forget how good MbL played in some of the games over the last 3 days. Yesterday, he took Hera to the limit, lost to Hera 3-2, but just the consistency is needed to perform at this level, and I think MbL lacked the consistency. Part of that could be due to the nerves of the moment, part of that could be due to the game mode. There could be many factors, but again, I feel like Hart has risen in consistency. He's got to be proud of himself. He's only been getting better. And you see the two kind of exchange pleasantries there and talk back and forth and smile. They've known each other for a long time.
Yeah, MbL, he's going to be joking around with Hart right after this set. Hart's going to feel really good about that result. It was just everything you wanted to see from Hart, you saw in that set.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything. He takes advantage early and he never gives it up.
That's Age of Empires with Hart.
Yes.
He gets the lead, he keeps the lead, good luck coming back. And the only instances you really run into that is if someone can do something completely wild, like the score victory yesterday with Yo, right? Or like you get a really good Civ, which is really dangerous. And I think Vikings posed a problem for him.
Yep.
He banned that today. Or the only other instance Hart has problems is really, I'd say, against the 2 players who are same style, slightly better than him, Hera and Leary, who of course are doing really well in this tournament. So yeah, Hart's amazing. I will hear from him soon, but I think Hart can beat anybody. Yeah, he's so
dominant.
Good.
Dominant performance from Hart. We're going to hear from him. On to you, Riley.
Yes, well, thanks very much, boys. Welcome to the deck here of the HMS Londinium, where we're joined by the victorious player, Hart. Hart, congratulations. A swift and decisive victory. Dave just described your performance as dominant. I imagine you're very happy with how things went down.
Yeah, I think the games went very smoothly. I'm obviously very happy. Relieved as well. I needed to win, I think, to get through. I'm pretty sure no other result would get me to the next stage. So, yeah, super relieved.
Well, that was my next question. Is there a sense of relief now? Because obviously, you know, there have been moments of this tournament that haven't gone your way. You've had to scrap pretty hard to get to where you are right now. So there is a sense of relief for you here?
Yeah, it's definitely a hard fought and hard-earned advance into the next stage. I think I go as second of my group now. Yeah, I think I should go second of my group. So yeah, that's quite nice. You know, I was in the brink of being out, and now I'm second in the group. Yeah, it's very nice.
Well, Nilly, we came into today with more or less every match meaning something. This was a really high-profile match where so much was on the line. Let's have a look at some of the key moments now, and you can talk Hart through some of the stuff that we saw.
Yeah, game 1. Like I think I've seen this multiple, like maybe over 100 times. Spearman Skirm by MbL, and you playing Scout Skirm. Was there anything different than in your typical ladder game?
I guess we're used to playing that. I don't know, I just felt like Georgians can match a bit awkwardly against Vietnamese. Potentially the CA can be dangerous, and also their economy. But I think I managed to get a few decent trades in feudal age, and I just made the game go my way from there on. There were a few messy moments, but yeah, I think I was well protected at some point, so he couldn't really find damage, and I think I was just pulling ahead slowly.
Yeah, slowly pulling ahead with like night raids like these, right? And then there was the moment where he decided to build a really aggressive castle. Did you think he was like needed to take such a big risk? Was the game so much in your favor?
Well, the score was saying he was dead, but I didn't feel like he was doing that bad. Like I knew part of the score was because of just suiciding units into my town centers. But I'm 20 bills ahead here, so yeah, I think he's pretty dead. But I know he can still maybe could have tried to outlast with Vietnamese late game, but yeah.
And then we went into Blue Wells. You found quite some damage here with the archers early on. And again, it felt like there was a lot of raids happening. There was some defense. And then again, MbL with some really aggressive castles. Did you feel like he overstepped a bit or like didn't have enough protection? Or like what was your thought process when you saw the mass amount of villagers coming your way?
I don't know, I mean, it's MbL. Like this is part of his animal playstyle, you know, so I can't really blame him for it. I mean, this game I felt like I did so much damage and the score wasn't reflecting that. So I was like confused like maybe he was fish booming at the back or something really hard, and I just hadn't punished that because I felt like once again feudal edge went like heavily my way. But yeah, obviously when I see the castles forward, I already had outposts on the front. It was really hard for him to sneak by, and I think Italians just outscaled Romans here, right? So I don't think he could have done much else.
And then after that, we went into game 3, Cumans. Obviously, the civilization, their double archer range opening, and you lost the villager early on. How did you manage to survive here?
Well, I also killed his. He killed my boar villager, yeah, and I killed his. And well, humans are very dangerous because of the double archer range opening. I think he was just a bit slow there. I don't know if he got housed in the opening or something, but I feel like he could have maybe put more pressure with the initial archers, and then you know, make the game messy for Franks, and eventually you can try to, you know, he gets bloodlines and Franks just a few extra HP. So I think that's what he was planning for. Just his start was a bit slow. I'm not sure if he got housed or something went wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, and after that, we saw you getting in. He's getting the defensive tower up, but still 2 knights back in his economy. You must have felt like this should be your game at this point.
Yeah, how's the recount even? Did he make a second town center in feudal age?
I don't think so.
Right? I'm surprised that recount was even then. Yeah, I felt in control of the game once again. I think the switch into Expo was really good there. Allowed me to like actually take advantage of my faster castle each time. And yeah, once again, the snowballing.
How were your nerves going into the set, right? You said there was so much on the line, loser goes out, and we were like speculating, like because LAN events, you haven't really like had your breakthrough performance yet, right? And if you lost, it would have been another like 7th, 8th performance.
Thank you, Nelly.
No, it's like, honestly, we
Just a
feel
statement
like
of fact. What do you want from him, you know?
it just feels like you're on the verge of having like a major semi-final, right?
Yeah, I've been like one game away a few times from getting to the next stage. But no, I wasn't nervous at all. I mean, it's very cozy to play in here. You know, it's quiet. It's nice. It's just a room. It's definitely going to be different on main stage. Here, I didn't really feel just a little bit of nerves. You know, the usual. Other than that, I was feeling completely fine. Yep.
It's very interesting because Mem made the observation heading into this this match, talking about how so many of the games today were going to be settled based on who felt more comfortable. When the play skill and tactics and that sort of thing are so close in level, a lot of it comes down to your psychological headspace, the mental game that you bring in. You've seemed cool, calm and collected today and have got a win as a result from it. So I think that's reflected in what's just happened. Yeah,
for sure. I think the first day I was shaky. I was uncomfortable on my setup here. And then I've been getting, you know, feeling more comfortable and gaining confidence, I think, in my skills again, which is very important. I think when I feel confident, I make good moves. But when I'm like doubting myself, not really thinking that I'm, you know, gonna be able to pull certain things off, I usually start making more mistakes. I get shaky, and I get overwhelmed. So I think you know, the progression this event has been really good for me.
And you've gained your confidence and feeling, you know, comfortable just in time for us to move to in front of a crowd of hundreds and then perhaps later thousands as well. So
amazing,
excellent.
Can't wait for that.
Anything else from you, Nelly?
Yeah, obviously tomorrow, then the playoff match, likely against Sebastian. What do you think? Best of 7 there in front of the crowd. What's your thoughts right now?
Sebastian's super tough. He's been clapping me a little bit in practice. So yeah, it's going to be a tough match. He's a good friend. Yeah, hopefully we can both show our best AoE and put on a show.
Well, Hart, thanks very much for joining us. Congratulations once again on the win. Looking forward to seeing how you go tomorrow.
Thank you.